Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of Talk That Tech. The
Number one tech morning show in the world. Good morning.
Good morning, and we're glad that you're rocking with us yet another edition of this on a Labor Day. I don't know how many of y'all gonna work this morning. I'm assuming you don't because it's Labor Day, and
Oh,
that you're
I
you're
know, right?
off. You might be catching some extra Z's, but in case you were up going at the gym, we are here for you, trying to be consistent on this Monday morning. And I hope you are well, man. I hope you are well, man. Oh, look who's in. Hey, take Coach Rouse says I'm working. He's like, I don't know anybody else, but I'm working. I got stuff to do. Uh, yeah, man. I feel that.
Got
I
to
feel
get
that.
to it.
Yes, yes. And if you have not, go ahead and follow Tech Coach Ralph on his channel at techcoachralph youtube.com/@ Tech Coach Ralph. And while you following him, follow us too. If you have not already, go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment as well. It does great things for the show. It helps promote us and push us out there in the algorithm world. So we definitely appreciate you, Tech Coach Ralph. And also a reminder, if you do comment, we'll shout you out at the end of this because why not? We want to appreciate you on the daily, or I should say on the weekly, since we do this as a weekly show. Definitely want to hear from you as well. So go ahead and comment. And Tech Coach Ralph says, "What's up, y'all? Happy Labor Day. Are you a Texas fan, Trey?"
I think
No.
Texan, right?
Nah, I thought he was talking about Texans over in H Town, but he's
Yeah.
talking about Arch Manning Texans, UT Austin Texans, and I think
Oh,
is what he's saying. And no, not really. I've never really been a fan. Like I've had some of their gear in the past, but I've never actually just had anybody outside of Ricky Williams, like that I really just like, oh man, they were like that guy. I've normally been on the other team. So like I was a Hurricanes fan, you know, University of Miami, for a very, very long time when I was super young. And then yeah, it just kind of moved around through the years. I think I told a lot of y'all. I think I told y'all I'm a players fan in all sports. Like because we can't invest in the companies, in these corporations. I really, I don't know, probably when I was like 24, 25, or whatever, 23, I realized I'm like, man, why am I getting so upset with all these sports teams that I can't, actually invest in and really have anything in stock in it. I'm like, man, I'm about to stop. So that's when I turned into a players fan, and I just like who I like. You know, it's been like that for a long time.
Trey said, the Tech Coach Ralph said, Trey like the turnover chain.
Man, dude, like his stuff was wild, bro. And then even I don't know. I think even Arch Manning, bro. I did watch the game though. Terrible. It was absolutely terrible. But at the end of the day, it was the first real start. And then they started them off with I think the number 3 team in the, you know, in the league. Like that's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. Now with the hype and the money that he got, he definitely is supposed to put some in, get it going. But uh, yeah, he kind of let him down, with that one. We'll see though. We'll see.
And Tech Coach Ralph
'Kay.
agrees 1,000%. LOL.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, can't do nothing.
The
You got people
1,000%.
out here busting vessels in their neck over their sports team and can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones still gonna make that trade, no matter what. I was highly upset. What can I do about it? Nothing, because he's still the GM and the owner.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And so that's something that we're definitely maybe we talk a little bit more about throughout the year is what's going to happen within college football, college basketball, NBA, NFL. We'll see as the season commences because when fall hits, it's football time, right? So we'll definitely
Maybe
be
not.
and
Who knows?
take Coach Rouse to the number one fan. It's a number one fan. Oh man,
That he is. It's crazy.
it is
His
crazy.
own detriment. Own detriment. I mean, the documentary just came out.
Woo.
Saw what he did, and then he messed around and did an even bigger trade than that one. It's
Oh
crazy.
boy. Oh boy. And then saying, "Oh, he told me not to call him back." I don't know if you saw that with Stephen A.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
And people were like, he probably told you to call his agent, and you said, "Don't call me back."
Okay.
Mix
And at the end of the
some
day,
words.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna burn down with him, I guess.
see, last man standing, right? Oh man. Well, listen, this is a definitely a packed weekend we're gonna have for you because it's Labor Day weekend. There's definitely things we could talk about. Consider this like a back to school edition, whether your kids are already in school or if you're here in the Northeast and your children are about to be going into school. This is the episode that you want to definitely lock in with us. We're going to talk about various topics and discussions along the way. But before we do, man, how was your weekend, everybody? Put it in the chat. We want to hear from you as well. And a reminder, if you do chat, we're going to shout you out at the end as a thank you for chatting on the show. But yeah, how was your weekend, Trey?
Bro, my weekend was good. I didn't really do much. Actually, yeah, I didn't do jack. Like as far as going out of the house, did a lot in the house. I just really been trying to uh, learn these automation stuff, like really just get a grasp around it. So yeah, just been looking at that N8N. I really just been um, just learning how that stuff works. And so yeah, that's what I've been doing. As far as everything else has been as normal. Sunday went to church. My mom called and it was like, hey, it's grandparents day. After church, it was like after church, it's like, hey, it's grandparents day. And like, what you mean? Well, grandmama want the baby. So uh drove her right over, you know. So ended up just watching that, got back home, ended up watching that Katrina documentary on Netflix. Uh it's like 3 episodes. And yeah, then I went
Yeah,
back to N8N and was up too late watching videos and tinkering around, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was my weekend, man. How was yours?
man, it was full of not the nicest or the, I would say, the cleanest things because a lot of the family got sick, including myself.
Oh,
It was a stomach bug, I believe. And
ah,
you know what's so funny is we have a nurse friend who we just kind of sent out a message that said, "Hey, y'all, just pray for us, so we're not feeling that great." And she was like, "Oh yeah, that norovirus has come back around." So I was like, "Oh, that's what it
the
is."
who?
The norovirus, Noro virus. That's all I know how to spell it. Noro
No,
virus.
I don't even
Uh,
remember when it was around the first time. Oh man.
yeah, it was like last year. Let me know in the chat if y'all know anybody that was affected by it. But it was kind of like a stomach bug, I believe. It was just
Mm,
very contagious. Like it was like one of those things where if you're around people, you could really easily, it's an easily spreadable virus. And it was just kind of like, without going into too much details, let's just say everything that you would expect a stomach bug to do, it does. So that's what most of our weekend was entailed around, was that. And so basically it was like a quarantine sort of weekend where we locked ourselves in. We didn't do much of anything crazy. uh the most I ever did extra was grab some more ginger ale crackers and do a little shopping, and then also build another shoe like container to hold our shoes because it was just like that. But yeah, that was pretty much the extent of our weekend. I wanted to go to the beach today, so hopefully everybody is good and hopefully it's out
mm.
of our system so that we can make that happen, y'all, because it is Labor Day weekend. It is a Monday before the holiday craziness kind of gets in there from Thanksgiving to Christmas and all these other things in between. And so, y'all, what are your plans? Or do you have any Labor Day plans today? Let me know. Y'all going shopping? Y'all planning to go hit up a bonfire? Y'all gonna go to a lake? What are your Labor Day plans?
Man, the lake would have been nice for sure.
I tell
I
you,
don't
right?
think any of that's happening this year for us. It's been raining like crazy. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I don't know where it's coming from or whatever, but yeah, like even yesterday, all through the night, it was like not just like light rain, like sliding down the street, just
Woo.
thick, thick rain. So I don't even know. It might still be raining now. I have no clue. It was raining when I went to sleep. Hours before that, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think that's definitely in our plans. Yeah, even today, 40% chance. So I don't know. So good for
Man,
y'all, man. Hopefully y'all can get out there.
that definitely rubs into the barbecue plans. Like, let's get the canopies out, but hopefully we can get something going on. Let us know in the comment section, what are your Labor Day plans if you have any. Also, one thing, Tech Coach Ralph, you'd be very interested to know of, is I did take the chance to say I did watch that movie, Weird Science, not all the way through, but I'll tell you this, brother. That movie would have definitely been in trouble if it was this day and age.
Really.
Oh yeah, man.
I forgot to go watch. Now you
It,
make me intrigued.
I mean, I got like what, maybe 30 minutes in, maybe. And I had to like take care of the kids and stuff, but but I'm gonna say like this. There's so many different things in that 30 minutes that I was just like, oh yeah, this movie would have been in trouble today and age. They would have a riot today and right now if this movie came out. So I'm
It's
I'm
like
a
that though.
I'm gonna leave it there for anybody who wants to check out the movie Weird Science, who has either never seen it before, 1985. Just to keep it in context, it was a different time. But yeah, I was just like, oh man, times have truly changed because this would have been a problem. This would have been a problem. Oh man. Well, listen, I know that we got a couple things to talk about here. We got to talk about Meta, retraining AI chatbots. We got to talk about this big movement that's happening worldwide in regards to our kids. And listen, if you have the skill set, doesn't necessarily mean that you're completely out of losing a job because of AI. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But the first things first, let's get into our first topic here, and that's regarding Meta and what's happening with their AI chatbots that is bringing a lot of attention to parents. And so, yeah, Take a Ralph already knows. He said the Meta chatbot story was crazy. So let's dive into it.
Yeah. So Meta, they're changing how their AI chatbots work when it comes to teenagers. So what's wild is after some reports were showing that bots had dangerous conversations with minors, y'all already know when minors come into the picture, eyeballs start to, kind of move in that direction as they should. But the company, they're basically retraining the AI to block these harmful topics like self harm, suicide,
Yes.
eating disorders, and inappropriate romantic chats with users that are under the age of 18.
Hmm.
So, you know, you wouldn't think that these things were happening, but obviously, if they had to put those parameters around, it's happening. So chatbots, they're no longer they no longer talk with teens about harmful subjects, right? So they'll instead try and get them to helpful resources. Like, I can't talk about that, but here's what I can talk about. You calling this number. Matter of fact, let me call it for you. Stay on the line, that type of deal. Probably not that far, but teens, they'll only have access to AI characters that are focused on learning and creativity. So risky characters, including the ones that are like more sexualized, will be removed. So I mean, and that's what it should be, is just like any other thing that you have, right? Like you have the parental controls. Once you turn those on, then it changes. Like sometimes they don't even look the same, and it's probably be like that there as well. hey, this is about learning and creativity. That's it. Now, if you get too creative, then you got to get up out of there. But anyways, why the change? Investigations, they found that Meta's chatbot sometimes encourage self-harm and eating disorders, and even help plan someone to, kind of in their stuff. So some bots, they also pretend to be real people, like real people. So earlier this year, it was leaked. They had leaked documents that showed the company allowed romantic or sensual conversations with underage users, sparking outrage from lawmakers and parents, obviously. And Meta admitted that the guidelines were a mistake. And, sometimes probably some of them, they weren't even like, real. They was just, boys and girls just like, oh, let's see what it says here. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't say nothing. And that's what they're looking to kind of protect around. So the real challenge is training AI, right? To be able to detect age and safety and then redirect those sensitive conversations. It's pretty complex, especially with billions of daily active users. So yeah, it's a big undertaking. Meta, they've already been under the pressure to improve teen safety anyway, right? So they recently removed like 600,000 predator accounts and then put teens into stricter content settings. 600,000 predator accounts. That just sounds wild. And that's probably
crazy.
not everybody. That it's probably another 600. It's ridiculous there. But anyway, critics, they're telling the companies like they say that the company's moves are reactive and not proactive, and parents can't fully control or monitor chatbot use. That's not their problem. I hate to say it, but I don't at the same time. Like, you as the parent, you have a job as well. I'm sick and tired of these parents sitting here and putting everything else on everybody else, and then being mad when the outcome is not what they want. Like, you need to be proactive around what your kids are on and what they're doing, and when they're doing it. Like, I'm sorry. Now, do they have a part, Meta? Yes. But at the end of the day, yours is bigger. So anyways, these parents, they're mad, and they and saying that they can't fully control or monitor the chatbot use. Now, at the end of the day, Meta says the new protections are already being rolled out, and but the experts are saying like ongoing oversight is needed to make sure that the teens are truly safe, and that's just in general. Like, no matter what it is, whether it's the computer, whether it's TV, whether it's where they're going to go spend the night for the weekend. At the end of the day, that's not Uber's job when when the teen has to get over there. It's not Mac or Apple, and it's not Meta. At the end of the day, it is the parents, but they're doing their part. We got to do ours. So that's where they're at on that, man.
Yeah, we gotta. That's a good point. And before I even say anything, we'll go to the comment section because TCR Tech Coach Ralph did say the Meta story, chatbot story was crazy. Definitely, if you can allude on that, brother, because I feel like you have more to add to the conversation. He said the wild thing is that it wasn't a mistake; it was permissible based on a memo. And actually,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, that just kind of agreeing with that. Also, there was some people that weighed on this one example, like a mental health expert raised concerns. Dr. Nina Vasan was talking about this as well, and it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, what did the doctor say? Dr. Nina Vasan from Stanford Medicine notes that these systems are designed to mimic emotional intimacy and can blur the distinction between fantasy and reality, which we kind of already know, and especially potent for young people because their minds are still developing. I remember that years ago that they said, what was it, the age? It was like 25 or something like that, 26, until your orbital frontal cortex is like whatever fully developed, let me know in the comment section what that age is. I'm drawing a blank because we're tired. But but yeah, like it was like one of those things where it's like we do have a part to play in regards to um, being parents, which is what we have to do. Is we have to draw the line in the sand, say no. Even taking our kids to the doctor recently, they're like, listen, screen time, what that thing is called, they say 2 hours a day is acceptable. Y'all do less than that, and that's what we have to do. It's our prerogative. We have to say, you know what, an hour and a half. Here are the guidelines. Oh, your phone just locked off because you don't have access to it because we set parameters on it. Too bad. That's the way it is. So we have to, you're right, like as parents, we
Find
do have
something
a
else to
part to
do.
play in this. It's all about educating ourselves and also having these platforms and educate us. And now we have the tools that can help us. We have, I'm just going to say this one only because everybody knows about it, but ChatGPT, for example, how do I protect my child with these type of new technology that are coming out? What should I look out for? Because there's a lot of things that are on the rise, and we're definitely going to talk about it for sure. But you sent me a couple of things as well. That even when it comes to adults that we got to look out for, when, like, for example, the WhatsApp situation about the new hack campaign that's targeting iPhone and things of that nature, we got to be aware of all of this because it all plays a part in what's the terminology we talked about back in the day when the elderly were getting um,
Getting
hacked
got?
for. Yeah, it was a
I
terminology that
don't
we
know.
kind of coined, but basically, like, you know, somebody coined it as well in our research. But basically, what it is that just kind of making sure that everybody is technologically aware and hygienic and good. And a lot of that has to do with how we parent when it comes to this particular topic. So, listen, y'all, what are your thoughts on this? We're not going to really rush today, jumping from topic to topic, but we want to kind of stay on things that really matter, and we feel like this is one of those things because it does matter. Because this is something that we're going to be discussing today in the various degrees, and so we definitely want to hear from you. So if you have not, go ahead. The link has been dropped. You can click here to call into the show. Again, you can click here to call into the show and share your opinions about this topic, especially if you are a parent. What are your thoughts about the chatbot and these features? Because basically, if you hear what Trey is saying, the chatbot was basically kind of forming relationships in a way with some of these children. And we always remember back in the day with AOL, you got mail. The biggest
Yep.
concern was the chat rooms and having teenagers, even younger preteens, maybe talking to grown adults and having conversations and being groomed and basically say, hey, you know what, we're just friends. They won't mind if we hang out. We'll meet at the mall. So meet at the mall at a time. And back in the day, it was the brother coming out and saying, hey, with the mic. Why, Mr. Hanson, like, did you know you were meeting a minor? And the person's like covering the face and running away. So that is the new. This is a new version of that, y'all. Basically, is what we're trying to say. Not to the point of meeting up, but to the point of this emotional intimacy that is not healthy. It's not healthy at all, and so that's something we want to definitely keep. He said, on my way. Tech Coach Ralph is saying he got something to say about this. But in the meantime, I'm going to pause. Is there anything else you want to add, Trey? I know you should have said a
With
lot
this?
already. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I did, but yeah, just until he gets here, I guess we can continue to talk. But yeah, bro, it's really it's interesting because there are, like, it's a spin-off of a space that they use this stuff for. So it's just unfortunate that people take these things to those routes, like, of the self-harm or eating disorders and things like that. But it has to know about those things as well
Mm-hmm.
to fully shape. And so it's kind of one of those catch 22s, or where you just, or you want to say, hey, I hope no one goes this route, but this is needed for other things, on the health side, or all that other stuff. But sometimes people take it in the wrong direction, and unfortunately, when you're a teen, sometimes they're just curious, or they are doing it on purpose with friends, but also, could end up being a detriment to a lot of people.
Yeah. And with that being said, I think it's a perfect time to bring up a friend of the show. You may have heard of him many times. You've probably even seen him on here a couple of times. We got Tech Coach Ralph in the building. What up, Tech Coach Ralph? How you doing, sir?
What it do?
Good. Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing
I'm
good,
so
doing good.
good.
I know you were working this morning, but I when I saw you said that chatbot story was crazy, I was like, oh, we gotta probably bring you up today. We gotta bring you up today. Wanted to get your thoughts on this to see if this is something that you, or what you've learned about it that you could probably share with the audience, and we could probably have more of a discussion about this topic.
Yeah. So I reviewed this story not this past Friday, but maybe the Friday before that, and it was wild. Like because in the memo that was leaked, it was actually like acceptable use. Like if it was like a mistake that it happened, then that's one thing. But the fact that it was like, oh yeah, it actually detailed that we allow romantic and sexual conversations with
Yeah.
minors, people under, because I think Facebook's policy or Meta's policy is 13 and up can use it, but that means between 13 to 17, they're allowed to have these conversations.
If they're telling the right thing about their age, which is oftentimes not the case. Well, back in the day, it wasn't.
Yeah,
They definitely wouldn't. You're on Black
so
Planet.
that was
I'm 22.
You're like, you're
No,
12.
you ain't 22. Yeah.
So that was the part that was wild to me. That like they actually, it was like in policy in writing that this is okay.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But
Which is crazy.
What Trey was saying though, like I agree that at the end of the day, it's still when they say like, oh, we can't control it. I mean, you can take the phone and devices away from the kids.
Yeah, but they don't want to because then they're gonna start, and they don't want to hear
Going
that.
through
But
withdrawal.
sometimes you got to hear it for a while. Like, hey, good luck. And I know, I ain't gonna hear it. I'll put in the AirPods. I'll put in the
Noise
Sony over
canceling.
the head. Hit the noise canceling on them, and sitting there like ain't nothing happening. You'll get over it. But yeah,
But
something
also,
gotta change.
something I was thinking about, like I remember when I was in middle school, that was around the time the first Bad Boys came out, and there were kids, no, not middle school, elementary school, and there were some of like my classmates like, oh yeah, I saw Bad Boys last night. I'm like, aren't we in like third grade?
Bro, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's so true.
And I'm trying, and it's crazy. I'm trying to think of when I watched. I remember watching one of them. And I was in, but I went with my cousin. Like, so I was just kind of. I actually didn't even know what it was. We was in that thing, but it was the one. Oh man, with the ecstasy, like that one.
That was
I can't remember which one it was. Two. Okay.
That's the one with Gabrielle Union, I think, right?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. And so what was in that one? Yeah, and it was either like middle. It was definitely middle
that
school.
was like middle school, maybe even high school.
Yeah, it was middle school. Yeah, I was like, oh snap, But you got to know where you're going. Like I said, I didn't know where I was going at the time, to be honest. But I knew we was going to the movies. But yeah, like probably shouldn't have been.
But even
probably
with,
shouldn't have went.
And when you think of it, like I remember, because the thing is like, all right, yeah, Meta should have like that's bad policy, everything like that.
Yeah.
Now they're working retroactively to fix it. But I remember like there was when I was in high school hanging out with a friend. His friend had a son who was probably like 4 years old. He knew the lyrics for all the music on the radio. Like he was like on beat, like with them. And I'm like you shouldn't be knowing this music. But
Yeah.
Know what music? Know what music? My daughter know Miss Rachel. That's the only music she.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that's all she knows.
1, 2, 3s.
That's it. In different versions.
So basically, like, there's outrage over the over like what is exposed. But even if they didn't have those policies, um, what are parents allowing their kids to get into anyways, right?
Right. Yeah, and clearly quite a lot. You know, um, it's like stuff can be there, but there's a lot of safeguards and parameters that you can put on someone where they
Yeah.
probably won't even experience it. Like unless it's like out in public in the street, there are certain things that you just probably wouldn't even experience if you set the right guards and parameters around it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know. Growing up, bro, I'm not gonna say I had the strictest parents, but I couldn't even close my door. Like my door was open. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I didn't know a lot of people like that, or I didn't have a lot of friends like that either. But my door had to stay open. Like,
Yeah,
Mm.
the no
I was
closed
just
door
playing.
policy.
Yeah, I was just playing the game all day. It didn't matter. Hey, we want to know. We want to be able to walk by. We want to be able. And at the end of the day, I mean, you know, I had to accept that as what it was, and that's all I knew. So for me, it actually wasn't that bad. But you grow up and you start seeing movies where like that's a whole like slamming my door, or they
Yeah.
get so mad then they got to take the door off the hinges. Like, I mean, technically my doors were off the hinges already because it was open all day.
Without the
But
effort of removing it.
yeah,
I think that's a great point about accountability. Like what it was teaching you was, hey, I have to be accountable in regards to what I'm doing, and it helps build integrity because you have your door open like that, or even other parameters too, where it's just like, listen, we because there are some kids that need that don't have that self control. Listen, we are going to like restrict your amount of time that you have here. We're going to restrict this, restrict that, restrict that. Why? Because we know that, like any drug, if you got too much of it or any of it at all, there's a good chance that you might get addicted to it. And what I mean by that is technology in general, right? Um, even sometimes not even having a video game system nowadays. For us, I grew up on Super Nintendo early and stuff like that. But even nowadays, depending on the kid, because of all the screen time, there's so many things that can become an addiction, and need to be regulated. So it definitely is something that we are going to continue to talk about today because that is the topic and focus. And we definitely want you to stay on with us, Tech Coach Ralph, because we're going to be hitting the subject in a different way in a moment. But before we do, we're going to transition into our tech wire. As we know, this is a quick segment. We hit it and quit it here. But the tech wire is basically events and things that are going on in regards to tech events, different sort of conferences, stuff like that. So real quickly, if this is just to give you the FYI, if you're in the region of what's going on in your neck of the woods, and we're going to go straight to September 10th here with Midwest Con. We got our own tech. We got our own people that are speaking at that event. We got Ty Smith who'll be speaking there. A few others in Cincinnati, Ohio. Go ahead and check that out from September 10th to 11th. Then we have GovTechCon, and that is happening in Washington, D.C. if you are in the region from September 11th to 13th. Black Women in Data Summit 25, Atlanta, Georgia for y'all. That's happening, as well as Sisters in Sales Summit 25, Brooklyn, New York. Stand up September 18th to the 20th. We get AfriCon that's happening in Atlanta, Georgia, 18th to the 20th. Tech and Wealth Summit in Seattle, Washington. That's happening from the 18th to the 20th. A lot of things are going on in September, so y'all want to check that out. Also, going back to the Midwest, we got Tulsa Tech Week in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 22nd to the 27th of September. And then to round it out, we have National Black MBA Conference, September 24th to the 26th in Houston, Texas. H-Town Stand Up. And then the last one is the BTS Digital Empowerment Summit 25 in Detroit, Michigan, September 26th to the 27th. And that rounds up our tech wire segment, and you could always check out these events at blacktechglobal.com. Go ahead and check out blacktechglobal.com, your premier source for tech events, all things coming up. And like I said, we're going to be talking today's a back to school episode that we have of the show, because either if your kids are in school or if your kids are about to go to school, we want to get you up on some game here and make sure y'all are ready for what is about to go down. And one of the things that is going down that kind of ties into our first segment here is this global push to protect kids from AI. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Trey, and then we're going to discuss it here on the show because it ties into what we were discussing today so far.
Yeah, man. So yeah, the global push, right? Global push to make sure these kids are all right. So governments, international groups, and even tech companies, they're really coming together to create stronger protections for children against the risk of AI, artificial intelligence. And so, it's one of those things where, like I said, when kids are involved, sometimes it's a little more eyeball. Sometimes they want to make sure stuff is going on in the right way, because they know the backlash is coming like a tidal wave, if not. So the movement, it really covers everything from stopping AI generated child abuse material to banning manipulative chatbots that prey on kids' emotions. And here's the key laws and policies. Number one, when it comes to the US on a federal level, they have the Kids Online Safety Act, which would force these tech companies to limit harmful content, like what we just talked about, the self-harm, the cyberbullying, the eating disorders, from even reaching minors. And so it has a strong bipartisan support. California, they have the Lead for Kids Act, which would set the nation's first full AI rules for children. And this includes bans on companion chatbots, limits on usage kids' data, and restrictions of facial recognition when it comes to the kids. The UK, they got the Online Safety Act, requires strict age checks, annual risk assessments, and fines up to 10% of a company's global revenue for violations. But the UK don't play. The UK gonna get that money when you get the violations. 10% of the global revenue for violations. And then you got the European Union. They have the ACT bans, the AI bans, and AI that manipulates children, makes educational AI high risk with touch oversights. And it requires transparency on AI generated content. So right now, when it comes to state and local actions, 48 states have introduced AI child safety bills, with 26 passing new laws. Nebraska and Utah, they led on addictive features, age verifications, and criminalizing AI generated child abuse material. Yeah, Utah, they definitely they definitely need to be on that, because they be having a lot of addictions down there. Statistically anyway. 45 states now ban AI generated child sexual abuse content. So they're making some moves. They're trying to now, y'all know, for a couple of years now, they've been talking about like, oh, we got to put some stuff around this. It's wild, wild west for AI. And so they're trying to start. The biggest threats, AI generated child abuse material. All right. It's exploded, and it's had over 485,000 cases that were reported in just the first half of 2025. So these industry changes, they're coming on platforms like Reddit, Spotify, Pornhub. They're adding stricter age verification, and companies like Yoti and Safe2Net, they're building AI tools to block harmful content and keep kids safe on devices. So, all of this stuff plays a part, including the manipulative AI designs. So, you got addictive recommendation systems and chatbots that bully, or that build unhealthy emotional bonds with children. And I'm not even gonna cap, it's adults too, right? Like, like they're trying, they put you down this rabbit hole of when it comes to the recommendation systems. Like, even if it's good, like I'm on YouTube all day. Why? Because they got me down this addictive rabbit hole of pulling up the recommendations that I like. It knows the stuff I like. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm seeing something I'm about to click on, and then seeing something that I want to click right next to it, hoping that it's still there when anyways, they know what they're doing. So really the challenges ahead is the tech struggles, right? How is it going to detect these subtle risks during the conversations, like on whether to take it somewhere else or not. Different companies or countries right now, they got different rules. So that kind of makes the coordination tough. And then you have some industry resistance over just cost and enforcement. So, at the end of the day, 2025, this next half, it could be the turning point for the global child safety online and that space right there. So success will depend on how well these governments, companies, watchdogs enforce these protections and keep AI systems from exploiting children while also still making money. That's it.
Yeah, man. And let us know what your thoughts are. We have the link dropped again for you to call into the show, and we're all fathers here. So I want to pass it over to TCR, see if there's anything you want to say to Coach Ralph before I add anything or go to the comment section.
So these laws are applied towards the actual AI companies themselves.
Yeah. So globally, like I said, U.S. they got the federal level. It's called the Kids Online Safety Act, COSA. So yes, and it's basically it would enforce tech companies to limit the harmful content, and yeah.
So I mean, I think it's helpful. I think from what I see though, even when people who do bad stuff, they're always looking for ways to go
bypass system.
to bypass it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, the companies are going to do the best that they can to adhere to those policies, I suppose. But then I think it's always like the criminals who are finding ways around it, and because before AI, we still have the same issue that's perpetuating. So great. It's no harm done. It's harder for the tech companies to navigate around it, but
Yeah.
I mean, the people who are going to do bad stuff, they're going to find a way to do bad stuff, and that's why you have like the dark web and all that type of stuff. So, it sounds good, but it like if you didn't have people who are doing this stuff, then these policies wouldn't even need to be in place on the tech companies. But the fact that they know and they see people doing it now, it's like you got to put the onus on the tech companies to try to prevent the people that they should be going after who are doing this bad stuff that they just aren't gonna catch, or they'll catch them eventually. Some of them, so it's just like a tough minefield to navigate.
It is tough for sure. I remember even YouTube Kids, I remember it was one of those things where there's people that were actively creating quote unquote children's content and then perverting it and making all sorts of stuff and purposely putting it on these platforms, which I think is gross and evil. Like literally like trying to really kind of either groom or expose the kids to things that they have no business being exposed to on a platform that's made for kids. And so it gets tough because, like you said, there are people whose objective is to straight up do evil things like this. And that's just it's because it's the evilness that we have in this world, right? But man, I honestly, that statistic kind of made me had to stop, the one that you shared earlier, Trey, about the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This is a National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, specifically reported receiving 485,000 reports. Like you said, these are just reports of AI generated child assault. I'll put it like that way because the algorithm in the first half of 2025 alone. That's according to them, a 624 increase from the previous year. A 624% increase from the previous year. And so I think that these regulations, and it's tough. What's tough about it is because how fast AI is moving right now.
Oh, it's
like
moving.
it is insane. I was actually it was so funny because I was on LinkedIn yesterday and somebody was created a video and they were sharing like, man, I created this video, everything, video, music, all through AI, and they talked about that wonderful app that Timberland used that we talked about. And so I had to chime in there and said, yes, this is kind of cool that we are making these advancements, but the technology is moving so fast that people are getting taken advantage of. People are actually getting their own music taken away from them without even asking, and being used in different ways and not getting the credit or the compensation. And that's just one example of how these laws and regulations, sometimes I think we're moving too slow as a society, that by the time these laws and regulations do come into effect, they're going to have to be updated again, because those that have the ill intent have already found something else and are doing something else that is going to be a challenge and a problem. So I'm kudos for having it there. But this goes back to what we talked about originally about us as parents getting aware. That's what we're doing this segment, y'all. So forgive us if you're not a parent, but if you have nieces or nephews, if you have any sort of young people within your life, hopefully this episode is of value to you, so that you can start thinking differently, finding tools, finding ways to support and help the parents around you, or even support the teens and the young people that you know of, because there is exploitation that's happening out there, and we want to make sure that we protect our kids and also make sure that we are aware and ahead of the game. But yeah, I'm gonna pause there. But that statistic alone made me like, oh, pause, because that's AI generated. Like you're thinking of creating content that is abusing and hurting kids, and finding that as entertainment, and that to me is crazy.
It is. No, it's wild, but it's all like Ralph said, it's always going to be people out there who they're looking to do that. Like they're looking to find the way in. Personally, I just believe the government's always going to be behind like those folks, because they don't want to be on the leading edge of technology. Like the facade of, we want the country to be on the leading edge, yes, but then those old people that are in all those spots, they don't even know what the technology is. So then it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like, how do you want it to be there, but then you still trying to figure out how to use your generation, your iPhone 4? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And so they're always going to be behind until until they bring in people in there who's like, yo, this just came out. Let's see how far does it go now? What are the parameters that we can put around it? Or like at least try or see, unless they have someone in there that's worried about that, instead of, hey, such and such pharmacy company is about to go out of business. Let's go ahead and put some options on it. Let's go ahead and run this bag up real quick over here in the stock market. And until they turn that around, it's probably going to be the same thing, where they're going to be playing catch up to the people who are, doing these cyber attacks and getting it, all this other stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to add anything else to that, Tech Coach Ralph, from the things that you see in the QA space and in in the dev space, that you want to add to what Trey just said.
I mean, the thing is as well, the issues with creating laws is when you have the people who are creating the laws who aren't necessarily, it has to be reactive, because you don't know how people use the technology to commit a crime until the crime is committed. And imagine for the person who is creating the laws, like, to have to try to put their mindset in all the different ways that these crimes could be, like, gotta drive them like a person crazy on their own trying to like do that. But I'm pretty sure there were no stop signs until the first person ran something. It caused a major accident. Like, oh well, now we need lots for stop signs, and now we need this, and now we need that. It's just
one dude.
It's always gonna be catch up. It's always gonna be a catch up game.
Yeah, but the way it's set up though is too long. Like, they got to go through all the, and I mean, I guess maybe at some point in time there was a reason, but like they could probably streamline some stuff to make it a little bit better. Like, are they still doing it by paper? Could they hit a button now on the screen? Like, yo, this just popped up. Do you want to push this through or not? Yes, no, or like, I'm sure they're still doing some old stuff that still is also making that process take even longer than it should. So they got a year and a half or however long to run the bag up doing this whatever thing, and then they finally put the law in. By that time, yeah, I done got my bag out of here. I'm in this, and I'm about to run it up. Like, it's tough.
Yeah. Also, I mean, if we're going to be relying on the federal government to pass sweeping laws, that's like not going to happen on a
Good
regular
luck.
basis. But there is your local, your state. Like you said, Utah passed some stuff, Nebraska passed some stuff. So you people also have to get involved in what's happening locally, statewide, and not the headlines. When you hear, I heard about in Detroit they had a mayoral primaries and like they had a 16% voter turnout. When that happens, they're just gonna push whatever they want on you,
Whatever
and
they
then you're gonna
want.
be mad after the fact.
This is stuff I talk about. I mean, I say it all the time. Like, it's mostly us, unfortunately, or Black people. We don't really go out there for the local stuff. But then when the stuff is not going in the way that you want it, you're complaining about it at home, right? Instead of actually going out, seeing who you need to vote for, and then actually voting to make sure it gets changed. Instead of doing that, you stay at home. Like I mentioned, I was watching that the Hurricane Katrina documentary on Netflix, and it even it kind of showed in there. I was like, Brad Pitt, he came in with some group and he helped build homes or whatever for a lot of these people. Well, the homes started like breaking down and they weren't built well. Yeah, they weren't built well. Well, it took somebody else outside of the culture to come in and say, no, you know what? We're going to sue these people. Like, we're going to actually, Spike Lee was asking them, like, when did this happen? It's like, oh, within the first year of getting the house. Like, it was multiple of them.
Oh, yeah.
And so they were probably complaining within the neighborhood or within people around them or their family. But then this one white guy who got one of those homes, he's like, nah, we suing. Like, and then it actually got some visible, like all that kind of stuff. And then, Brad Pitt probably didn't even know. He probably was like, yo, I just put the money up. I
trying to do a good thing.
I was a partner. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it happens more often than we like. And I didn't realize it until I kind of moved away and then was looking from, I'm like, oh man, when a pothole pops up over here, it's gone fast.
Yeah.
I go back to my old neighborhood, it's more and more that pop up. And it's like, man, if this is done by the city and it's the same city or county, like they should be doing it just as fast. But if they don't let the people know, they're gonna let it go. Like, it's other stuff that we can be dealing with. So I don't know, man.
I was smirking a little bit reading the comments. It depends if it was Fight Club Brad Pitt or Troy Brad Pitt. But let me say, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It depends on where you live as well, because there are some people that would fight for things, and it would just take a slow roll for things to happen where they live, versus if they were in another community where the taxpayers were paying a bit more. They probably went on the Gulf Coast with the mayor last week. So those places do. There is a little level of favoritism that and entitlement and nepotism in some cases as well that we kind of have to acknowledge. So it really depends on the community, because there are some communities, like I know back when Bed-Stuy was Bed-Stuy, do or die, there were some advocates there like, hey, we gotta get some change. And this is New York, by the way. And then when it came to Stuyvesant Heights, when the people walking poodles down the street, we saw a lot of things happen a lot faster, and we're like, oh, we've been complaining about this for a while. like What's going on now? Now they're gonna change. Now things are gonna change.
Well, I
yeah,
don't know, Joseph. But I will ask, were they complaining in the right channels? Like, and what I mean is, I don't know, and they probably were. But what I'm saying is, I watched the lady. She said, "Oh no, when did this happen? I think one of the street lights was out." She called the number right then. Like, I don't even know who she called. I'm just looking. I'm like, oh, is that how that works? Like, I'm thinking they got people that just ride around and, okay, this light needs to be changed. All right, the city, you know, and then they get somebody up there. She looked and waited on some hotline or whatever and got it done. So I don't know, but all I'm saying is, was it the right channels or like, everything does have a proper way to get done. It's, we really need to know how that is and what needs to happen to do it. But it's possible that they were. And then, like you said, hey, different people came through and they got different, different stuff to happen. But in my experience, I'm just going, and by the way, this is not anybody else's experience. I'm just going off of what I've seen and what I, like with my own eyes.
Yeah, no, I there are cases like that, and I mean, we could do a deeper dive and say the why behind that as well. Like, why is it that we, as sometimes as a people, kind of have situations like that where it doesn't seem like things are fast moving, and for us and for others, it's like, hold on one second, I got a complaint, and then things start to move. It really. There's a few things that we could probably dive into that. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Tech Coach Rob, before we move on. But what are your thoughts there, if you have any more?
I mean, I just think I think based on how you treat your community is how other people will treat your community. If you keep your neighborhood clean, people are going to come in and they're going to want to respect your neighborhood. And so now when you go and complain to your local authorities, like, oh, this isn't working. And now they come in like, okay, well, this is like, and you make enough noise, then we'll do what we got to do. But if you say, oh, the street light isn't working, but then they come in and they see the grass is like 10 feet high and like this house is like all falling apart, like, you guys don't care about everything else. Why do you guys care about the street light? And we just gotta go to the people who are actually making our community look good, and we'll keep theirs looking good. So it's like it's reciprocal. So
yeah, I hear that for sure. All right, y'all. So thank you guys for rocking with us. We have a little time because it is Labor Day, so we just wanted to wrap up, not necessarily with the Brown Box special today, but we do have a last segment that we could touch on real quickly. And feel free to stay on and take Coach Ralph if you want to or not. But this is just something that kind of ties into the importance of us being on top of what's going on with AI. And actually, for this time around, it's more or less to do with your vocation than it has to do with AI policy. And that is the rise of AI slop and human response. And so I'm going to just share about this real quickly here. But basically, what is happening is that there are a lot of low quality formulaic content. You probably see it yourself. Some people are generating some Gen AI content and it has probably misspelling words. People's faces are still kind of skewed, right? It's flooding the internet. So it ranges from clunky writing and messy images, like I just mentioned. And so what people are now doing is they're like, hey, let's go back to basics. We want the AI stuff, but we realize we need a human in the loop. So while the flood of bad content is coming out, what people are doing is they're actually providing more opportunities and jobs for people who are up on the know about AI. So for example, writers are paid to rewrite AI generated articles so they sound natural and answer questions. Then we have designers who are able to fix AI logo images that look distorted or nonsensical, and developers who can repair broken AI coded apps, chatbots, and recommendation systems. So listen, I just said three of them right there: writers, designers, developers. And the reason why we're pointing this out today, is because there's been this whole trend about how AI is going to fully replace jobs. And I'm trying to say that we're not fully there yet. What we do need, though, is people that can be able to stand in the gap, like we talked about for most of today, get up on AI pretty quick, stay up with the trends, and then be able to do this in the background. So, for example, I have a friend who has been trying to build a company through Lovable and these different types of apps. And one of the challenges that they face is that once something's wrong with the code, they don't know what to do. They're stuck. So somebody like a tech coach Ralph could come there and be like, "Hey, listen, I'm here to save the day. For a pretty penny, you could hire me to check your code out, and we be good." So that's the opportunity of the lanes that we could find ourselves in right now. Not guaranteeing that in about 5 years that'll be the case, but right now AI needs help. So, for examples, our Spanish designer spends much of her time fixing botch AI logos now instead of being the one to create it from scratch. A US writer says half her jobs now involve rewriting AI produced articles, and an Indian developer rebuilds faulty AI powered apps and websites, like I just mentioned. So these are the market trends we're seeing from platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, Freelance Report, surging demand for AI fixed jobs. And MIT study found that 95%, and this is something I actually posted or I've been talking about this week, was what MIT found about companies that are trying to push their own AI pilot and don't necessarily have the expertise to do it. 95% of those pilots are failing right now. So if they're failing to deliver real returns like ROI and showing how often humans are needed to fix AI outputs. In fact, I'll talk about this a little bit later too, but new businesses like Writing for Humans and Editor Ninja now specialize in editing and humanizing AI content. So this is something that we talked about and preached for a long time, Trey, that when there are issues or things arising when people are afraid of jobs, new jobs are forming, new opportunities are forming. And so this is why we want to let you know about this stuff, because you might have an opportunity there if you have a skill set. So pay and challenges. So many freelancers say these jobs pay less than traditional work, even though fixing AI often requires as much creativity as starting from scratch. And some professionals avoid these gigs altogether, arguing AI corrections can be harder than original work, which is another area if you could really kind of find that space where it's like, nah, it's not that easy, it's not that hard. You can make some money. Consumers are often react negatively to AI-only content and AI-written love letters to AI-generated fashion ads and things of that nature. So that's why humans still matter. Businesses want content to feel authentic and emotionally resonance, but they do also want to cut costs with AI. So this is the way that they're looking to do it. So instead of replacing AI, humans, AI is creating new types of work, correcting, refining, and adding a human touch and machine output. For now, AI slop, as it's called, is a problem, but also a source of opportunity for workers. And I wanted just to ask your thoughts on this as we're closing out the show here. This is one thing we all talked about, but what are your thoughts about this particular a rise of opportunities here?
What you got, Ralph? I know you might have to get up out of here.
No, I'm gonna let you go first because
Okay.
I got some thoughts out there.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a real thing, right? Because you have people who just use stuff out of the box, and for me, you know, I have a goo gob of suits in the closet, right? Like I have a lot of suits in the closet that I rarely wear now, but I used to wear them every single day at one point in time. And the difference was the tailoring. Like for me, when someone saw me in mine, I could have on the same suit as somebody else. It just looked different on me. And it was the tailoring. And what I'm getting at is there's a lot of people out there that are just now coming into AI and what it's about and how it works. And they're using it straight out of the box. So they don't really understand how to prompt, or maybe they're just using it for regular, you know, everyday stuff. When you have, oh no, you got to tell this thing what to do in order to get out something that is quality, that's not AI slop. And that's where what you were sharing, the people who understand that, there's an opportunity for them there. Like that Spanish designer that you were talking about who fixes the AI logos, like there's even an upsell for her. Like, hey, I know you wanted me to fix this this AI one, but I also made one because I know their style. They gave you what they liked. Like, obviously, you like this. That's why you have me editing it. Hey, I'm gonna upcharge you. Check this one out that I also created. So not only am I gonna hit you over the head for redoing the one you want, but I'm gonna say, hey, I also have this one. It's in your same style, but this is my creation. Now you can get paid twice.
And still entertain them going forward. And be like,
yeah,
listen, I can handle both for you going forward. Let me be the one.
Yeah. Or even the broken code. Like all I heard when you said, hey, sometimes it's harder to fix the broken or the broken AI code than just doing it from scratch. That just sounds like more money to me. Hey, we could build this for you, but it's gonna cost you another 20,000 or whatever, 15. I don't even know what they charge for this stuff because I don't do it. But it's gonna cost you more because I don't want to do the work. My tailor does me like that. If it's a harder piece, they're gonna charge more because they don't want to do it. And so it's up to you to be like, you know what? I want it. So all right. But if you don't want it, then they're not gonna do it. And guess what? They okay. Because I got other jobs that I can do. I don't want to do it. That's why I'm charging you more. But so yes, anytime something is introduced, there is another side. And that's what we're seeing right here as well. So it's just up to the people. Like, are you willing to put in those extra few hours to learn how to make that a thing? And then go from there. But it's obviously happening all the time. There are whole areas where these people hang out ready to fix half-done code that you made in Lovable or any of these other ones. They're ready and waiting. And you show up like, man, I want this app done. I need it done.
Desperation.
It's gonna cost you. I got you though. I can get it done for you. It's gonna cost you.
And I think before I pass it over to TCR,
Yeah.
I think that actually we were talking about Lisa Carson's. NBC News talked about her as being that graphic designer from Spain, and that's what's keeping her busy more than ever, right? And so I think that going back to what you just said about, and this is perfect segue to Tech Coach Ralph, is that in regards to developers, when you have somebody that comes with you with a half-baked code, you're like, they're desperate now. They've already spent time, they invested money, they want this thing done. Not saying you take advantage of that, but you definitely have the leverage to be like, okay, I can fix it for you. It's like going to the doctor when you have an ailment. Oh, doctor, I need help. And the doctor's like, here you go. I can fix this for you. Here's the bill as well. Take care of that on the way out. But yes, Tech Coach Rob, what are your thoughts on this before we wrap up the show?
So first, real quick, Trey, what color is the suit?
What color is it?
You got a lot
Which
of
one? Bro, yeah, I got.
What's
I
your
got navy blue?
You have any wild
navy
colors?
blue.
Any crazy
wild?
colors? Yeah.
Nah, I'm not a. I wasn't. I'm not really
Not
a
a
wild
Steve
color
Harvey
guy.
suit type of guy.
Nah, suits. Nah. I got pinstripe, black, navy blue. No zoot suits. Just a lot of blazers, right? So camel hair, I like it like that, where I can mix and match or put this type, stuff like that. But no, not the wild stuff.
All right, just checking. All right, so I think that people fell for it, right? So if you look at who was saying, "Oh, AI is gonna replace jobs here, there," if you look at who was saying it, it was the CEOs of these AI companies because they're trying to get people onto their platforms, and it worked. Yeah. And the people who bought it just like that are the people who never really wanted to work in the first place. You know what I mean? So like, oh my God, AI is gonna take our jobs. What should I do? I'm just gonna go Netflix and chill, right?
Yeah.
But I actually made a video last Wednesday where I was talking about you should this is the perfect time to be learning web development because now you have you can go on like Udemy, get a course on sale for like $15-20 and it'll teach you. It's like a 60-hour course, teach you like everything from very beginning to very end. And now you have AI to actually help you work on a project that you want to do, and then so you pair it together and everything like that. So you have that context. The problem is that when people end up being so overly reliant on AI, I tried to a couple of times to get AI to put text in an image. Terrible. All right, I'm just going to. So now when I do my thumbnails, I'll get the image and then I'll put my own text on there. I built in Lovable, I built my own image editor where it'll generate the image from AI, and then I'll go in there and I'll drop my text, drop my additional like elements, like kind of like Canva or Photoshop type thing, right? But that's based on knowing what the limitations are. So it's this, like, it never had to be to the point of, oh, it's not necessarily AI slop. It's technically human slop based on what they're asking for and what their expectations are. If you know what to expect, then you're going to be able to work with it, as opposed of like taking it as, oh, this is my replacement. No, this is my assistant. That's how I always see it, as this is my assistant. So I'm like, all right, what can you do good? I'm gonna delegate that, and then what can I do to go faster, and then I'll do that. Last week at work, I was trying to install this application on like AWS, and like I was going back, like I just used Gemini for the past, like for a few days, like saying this is what I have here, and it helped me get it working. And there was a lot of times that it made like it was wrong about some stuff, but I was able to identify it. We just troubleshooted it until we got it to work. But if I had to, like, one, I wasn't going to find the time of an engineer to be able to get that done. And two, if I was able to get the time of an engineer, it was going to be a lot of their time that wasn't worth it. So if people gave up, and it never had to be where, oh, I'm coming back to do this. They should have been using AI already and already modifying the content and making it their own work with the assistant of AI, because AI is no different than having your personal assistant who used to take notes. Just instead of paying a $40,000 salary, you're paying $20 a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, facts. Yeah, for real. Or maybe a couple $20 a month, still less.
Yeah, exactly. Like depending on what platforms that you're using, and like the way that these platforms are. I don't know if you've ever heard of or used Runware, but they integrate, like, it's a pay as you go, but they integrate with all the, like, with not all, but like a majority of the with most of the provider, like the video providers, like for video generation, image generation, a bunch of stuff. And like, so based on your usage, that's how you get charged. So it's not like you're having a subscription for Mid Journey, for
One-stop
like
shop.
Minimax. Yeah. So, and then because it's like because they promote the API based, you can integrate that into your applications and get things built, whether you need video, image, whatever it is that you need. You just integrate with those APIs, and you work that way. So people now, I think people are being similar to what we were talking about earlier. People are being retroactive when they could have been proactive and already set themselves up to. So like that logo designer, they could have like get a start instead of having to spend 10 hours or however, like, to create the samples. They could have got the start and then put their own stuff into it and then send that off. And now they're able to service way more people in a less amount of time, as opposed to holding on to, well, this is 100% done by me, when the person that you're selling it to, 99 times out of 100, they're not going to care, because they just want their logo. Like, okay, great, good job. Like, give me my logo. If I like it, I like it.
No, that's a fact that they don't care. And I don't. Oh, and also, bro, I don't know if you tested it out yet, but that nano banana is good with the words. It is good with the
I haven't
words.
tried that one out yet.
Try and maybe switch that one out in your nodule, like your whatever they call them, nodules.
Mm-hmm.
Like, try that nano banana. It's good with the words. Like,
I'm gonna try it out. Yeah, that's,
like,
I think,
crazy
who made
good.
that? Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah.
And that's dope. And I think that we just wanted to make sure that everybody's thinking like, hey, it's not there yet. It's not there yet. You can definitely, like Techo Drop said, get the information. In fact, what's the name of that course you mentioned? Just so people have like that resource, if you have it on top of your head. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, I will send it in this chat, and then you can drop it into the
Cool.
You can keep on. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is like, hey, teach yourself how to fish in this case, and you could make yourself a business on the side by just taking what you already know to do well and using AI to assist you to amplify what you're doing. So that way now you're like, okay, I can really make, I really can do really good work. So we gotta be careful not to copyright people's music, like we saw before. But everything else that
I'm gonna defend Suno. That was Timberland, not Suno.
Oh, okay, because he actually injected that particular.
He's the one who uploaded it.
Okay, yeah,
He did.
yeah. You gotta be careful what you do. But yeah, you're right. You're
What
right.
you get for Timberland?
I mean, which
I
is
dropped
another
the
thing
link in the
too.
chat.
Yeah. That was like crazy. Yeah, but oh yeah. So this is a resource, Udemy, which has a lot of different courses. This is a course that I believe was said to be about, if I'm not mistaken, maybe $10-15 or
Whenever it's
so.
on sale, it's not on sale.
Yeah, I
It
was
doesn't look
about
like
to
it's on
say.
sale right now, but like whenever it's on sale, like they'll drop
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
price
they
dramatically.
changed the prices.
Yeah, right now it is on sale, Labor Day sale, $20 for this.
Oh,
Right, the original price is 83% off, y'all. So 83% off, y'all. If they had a referral link, probably you could use it. But yeah, no, this is $20 off for the complete full stack development, and I'm gonna actually just show it because I think we're such visual creatures these days that I'm just gonna try to see if I could show it to y'all here. But basically, it is a full stack, right? Where you can basically see it's about 16 mobile development projects for your portfolio. And this is this good for entry level, you're saying? For somebody who wants to kind
it
of
starts
learn
you from the very beginning.
from the very beginning, you can learn how to code yourself. And then now if you were to combine that, I'm probably gonna send it to a friend of mine, but now that you could combine that information of you learning how to code with you using AI to help you, you could develop you could develop a business, right? You can do a lot of this with this stuff. And just to think about like learning Spanish or learning French. It's another language. So this is definitely something that you could definitely check out. The link is dropped here as well. So go ahead and check that out for yourself, y'all, and see if this is something that you want to invest your time in and money. Again, it is $20 today. We don't get paid for saying that. We just want to provide resources to the community that we feel can be helpful. And thank you, Tech Coach Ralph, for mentioning that. And that's the whole name of the game. There is to make sure that we are taking one step ahead and reading the tea leaves, as they say, and being able to kind of put ourselves in a place to succeed. But we're going to wrap it up, y'all. Any last words from anybody on the panel here? We have Trey in the building. Tech Coach Ralph has joined us as well. Any last words from anybody here before we close out?
No. Do it.
Protect your kids, protect your wives.
Hide your kids, hide your wives.
Hide your kids, hide your
They gonna find you. They gonna find you. Oh man, I forgot about that. Oh, it's been a minute. But listen, y'all, thank you so much for rocking with us again on another edition of Tech Talk That Tech. We definitely appreciate you. My name is Joe or Jay or whatever you want to call me. Then we got Tech Bag Trey in the mix as well as Tech Coach Ralph. Thank you again. And you are watching Talk That Tech, the
#1 tech morning show in the world. We'll see y'all next week, baby.
Yeah.
Enjoy your holiday.
Peace.